Well, John and Amanda, thanks for coming, stopping here at Marine Tech. So we got exciting news. We've been working hard. We've got the powerboat project going on. We've got lots of students, and we've talked at the offshore seminar that you do here in Anacortes. Like, wouldn't it be great to do a sailboat? And so we've done it. I have secured some money with the school. I got the support of Skagit College. We've got logistics figured out. There's a lot of details behind the scenes with titles and stuff like this. And the big one was the money. We got the green light and the okay, and we really want to tie it to learning and have a project parked out there in the project area. And so we had some thoughts, like with Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, really the biggest thing about the whole project is connecting it with our classes, and making it meaningful for our students. And doing something like retrofitting or refitting an offshore sailing boat is kind of the perfect thing, because we can have our engines students go in. We'll plan on, probably putting in a brand new engine, full drivetrain. Mike's electrical class will come in, do full DC wiring, AC wiring. Systems class, do all the plumbing, so on and so forth. And then we also have a new rigging class at the school, taught with Quinn Olson, to redo the rigging. So kind of we want to just, as the year progresses and we go through these different courses, sort of replace and repair all these different systems on the boat, so that it's solid for offshore cruising.
Great.
The idea.
And you've got a sewing machine too, so you can do the upholstery.
We got it. We got a
You
sewing
can
machine.
use the girlies, the curtains,
Yeah, we get on. So
canvas, and
yeah.
great.
So the things we're good at, tied to curriculum, we can do. The reason we really appreciate you guys coming by is we have no offshore experience. We're not offshore sailors. We're good at fixing boats, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we can do the stuff that everybody complains about that's horribly expensive or they don't want to break. But we want to make sure we get launched in the right direction. So we're doing the right thing, I hope, by asking a lot of questions.
Well, even just as important, or maybe even more important than knowing about offshore cruising, is knowing about the market. Because you don't want to buy a dog that you put all the time and money in,
Right.
and then there's no market for it. And so,
That's a good point. I did kind of promise my boss we could sell it at the end.
yeah, well, that's
Well, you don't want to sell it for less than what you
Right.
Yeah,
paid.
that's definitely not the deal. So there's good news and bad news. The bad news is that in 45 years of helping people find boats for offshore cruising, I've never seen fewer appropriate boats for sale in the Northwest. They're all gone. And I just went through the February issue of 48 North, and in the back of the magazine they have the listings of all, kind of a culmination of all the boats in the magazine that are for sale in order, in financial order. Here we go, sailboat listing. So I went through that. So we've got 1.5 pages of it. Guess how many boats I found that would be appropriate for?
Half dozen.
Yeah, certainly not more. It's just,
Yeah.
Well, what's your budget?
That's a good question. So we, the budget is about 40 to 50,000
Wow.
purchase price. So
Yeah.
we got some good money behind us, because the advice I've had and we've talked about is, we really need to get something that's sellable, a name brand.
That's
We can't
exactly
get a home built boat and put a lot of money into it because nobody's going to buy it.
and not an oddball boat that
Yes. Nobody's
a builder
heard of.
that no one's heard of.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so it's gotta be mainline.
that was my pitch to the college. Like,
Good.
we need some good money.
Yeah.
And then we'll invest in it on top of that and sell it. And so we were thinking, I was thinking maybe in the 35 to 40 foot range,
Yeah.
42.
Yeah.
We don't want big, but I think we also don't want small necessarily.
Right.
Because if the people who are targeting a little tiny boat may not have the money that's
Exactly.
needed. So
Yeah.
does
And
that
you-
seem reasonable for, a boat that's handled couple, maybe 2 people?
Totally, and I think given your budget that 40 and under versus 40 and above would be really appropriate. It's hard to find a 42-foot boat for 35 to 40 that's going to be appropriate for offshore.
Or savable, really, that's
Yeah.
not destined for the crusher.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, for 45 years, through our offshore cruising seminar that we teach here at the college, we have been helping people find, I figure about 10,000 people we've helped find a boat. Through
That's
that, yeah, through that, well, it's 175 seminars now. So
Yeah.
if we average 60 or 70 people per seminar, and then about,
But you've got a list in here.
we have a list in here. We have a whole, the very first thing we do in the offshore cruising seminar is selecting a boat, selecting and purchasing a boat, and then outfitting it, because that really is the whole basis. If you buy a junk boat,
Yeah.
you never get ahead. And we meet people like that who buy a project boat, and 10 years, 15 years later, they're still rebuilding, and they never get, and they give up. They lose energy, they've run out of money, and then they just sell the boat for whatever they can get for it. So there's boats for sale in here, 48 North, for $5,000. Do you want it? No, because it's destined for the crusher.
Right.
So
But you've got a list of boats from.
we've got a list, and so,
Of reputable builders
yeah.
that you
Well,
can stand
so I
by.
started doing the, well, the list is, oh, here it
And
is.
on our website.
Yeah, so on our website, mahina.com.
We'll put some links down below in the video so people can check it out.
So what I've been doing since 1976, since when I started doing the seminar, is interviewing marine surveyors, boatyard owners, and boat owners, and surveyors around the world. And I've interviewed thousands and thousands, and so I just say, hey, you've got a Cascade 29, how's it been for you? And then you say, well, I've had some problems with the balsa coring in the deck, all
Right.
went rotten, and it took me forever to muck that out, and I had to reglass it, blah, blah, blah. So that boat's not on here. Actually, Cascade 29 is okay, but, so I've been doing that.
Balsa decks doesn't sound like any fun to me.
No, but.
So
if-
what is your list?
But if we eliminate all the boats, all the production boats that have balsa core decks, we have a really small market.
Yeah, as long as it's not wet, right?
As long as it's not wet.
Which
It
comes
will
into a
be
good
wet.
surveyor
It
or
will be wet,
us doing
but
our
as long
homework.
as it's not major
It's
mush.
not structural.
Yeah, yeah. So in this list of 400 builders and boats, I've just gone through and written the specific problems. So the boats on here are okay, but every boat in the world, no matter how good it is, there's some issues. And so, well, let's just look up one and see, Hinckley, right?
Yeah.
Built in Maine, the
Yeah.
most expensive boats. We say attractive, highest quality, and expensive, hold their value well, modest tankage and storage, shortish water lines. Actually, really short, very graceful long overhangs, but if you want to have the speed to be able to avoid storm cells at sea,
Yeah.
you don't want a short water line with long graceful overhangs. You want a long water line so you can go fast and avoid the bad weather. So anyway, that's what we have. So
Excellent.
what
So that's
I've
a great
just-
resource for us.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is on our website.
As well.
For everybody. And so from this, I've ended up getting a ton of boat purchase consultation business. For the first 30 or 20 years, I did free consultations. People would see this list, they'd call me up or they email me, well, call up before email, and say, how come Diana 37 isn't on your list? I say, well, because of this, and this reason. And they say, oh, okay, well, I guess it doesn't really make that much sense. And over the years, I've collected documents from naval architects like Robert
Yeah.
Perry,
Mhm.
from surveyors, and I just say, oh, could you just write that, just email me that? And so I've got a whole page on different actually I have
boats.
hundreds of pages.
And those are on your website.
They're on the, well, those aren't on the website.
They're for
That's-
services.
But we could
But the
ping you a
list is
note.
there.
Yeah, you
The
ping me
list
a
is
note.
there and say like,
Yeah.
we're looking at, because that's our job, is to,
Yeah.
Matt and I now apparently have to go buy a boat.
Cool.
You
So we
do.
gotta go kick some boat stands,
That's
right?
exciting.
Which is fun.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. So what I've just done is looked at what's for sale right now in the Northwest against what we have on the list and circled what I think would be good possibilities for you. So at the low end of the spectrum, Cape George 31, semi-custom, built by Cecil Lang in Port Townsend.
Yeah, I like those hulls. I think.
They're pretty, but a lot of, they all have plywood decks, and sometimes the plywood is mushy. And it's a small
Yeah,
boat.
31.
Yeah,
One's pretty
31's a
small.
little small.
Get your students in there, yeah.
Let's move up. The next one that we come to is a Yamaha 33. Now, kind of an odd, a lot of people haven't heard of that, but Yamaha in Japan built some really, really good sailboats.
Weird.
They're not what, yeah, it's weird, and probably that wouldn't be the one to go for.
But I'm learning something.
Yeah, that's.
Every day I have to
How
learn
much
something
is it?
new, Josh.
Really good quality. Well, 1978, 21,900.
Pretty inexpensive.
And we have some friends, I have some friends that I met 25 or 30 years ago who cruised Sally Foster and, forgot her husband's name, but anyway, we met them in the Pacific. They cruised for 15 years on the Yamaha 33.
33, okay.
No problems, no structural issues, but people would say exactly what you did.
A Yamaha?
Yeah.
Yeah, so forget that. Here we go. Wakier Praetorian 35, built in France. Nickname is the French Swan because super
Okay.
high quality. 1982 diesel engine, $34,950.
See, now we're getting,
It's in the range.
that's in the range. We got
That's a
room.
36.
That's a 35, but it's a roomy 35. And the importer was Mike Locatell in Seattle. And he's still in the yacht brokerage business. In fact, Northwest Yacht Net is his latest company, and that's who lists it. And lots of people bring their boats back to Mike to sell. And so I would put that one definitely.
Put on our short list of something we should go to Seattle and check out.
Definitely. And then we come up here. Here's another one, and this is kind of a sneaker because you don't think of it as a offshore boat. Yankee 38. So it's a Sparkman Stevens design, and it's actually the same as a Catalina 38. So it has a pinched IOR stern, beamy, tumble home, but we've met these offshore, and it's only $29,900. And it's in, oh, that's also at Northwest Yacht Net, so
Okay.
probably in Seattle. Next jump is up to a Cal 39, and I know you think of Cal and you think of, maybe you think Cal 40.
Cal
or
40 was the
famous one.
right?
The Cal 39 was a development and an improvement in a later version of the Cal 40. The Cal 40 was
Oh.
famous because of it still wins so many races.
Right.
And sturdy, and people.
Pedigree, yeah.
Yeah, and people cruise them. You think of Cal and you kind of think of the 70s production California, like Columbia, Ericsson, kind of lighter quality boats. But the Cal 39, there's a couple from Seattle that did a 9-year circumnavigation of the world and came back. We met them before they left and out cruising, and when they came back and sold it and bought an outbound 46. And then we just
Wow.
met them in Europe on the outbound 46. They're now in their 80s, but they said the boat was absolutely fine. They had no structural issues, no rudder problems. And it's-
39 feet, how much they asking?
that's the good part, 27.5.
27.5.
So people don't think of the Cal 39 as an offshore boat, but it's totally capable and much more comfortable and a lot faster than, for instance, a Pacific Seacraft 37 that people think of as a real salty double
Yeah,
anchor
right.
short
They
water
are
line.
kind of expensive too.
Yeah, and not much storage. So Cal 39 would be
So
good.
that- Okay, that's good information. So let's think of that Cal 39, so, or any of these boats, John. So you think if we invest in the new engine and some rigging and stuff like that, that it's, because we have essentially our own boatyard here.
Right.
We're not paying for, the stuff that an average person would have to pay for. We should be able to easily sell or recoup our money on a project like this.
I should think so. And so what we really need to do is go on soldboats.com. It's a soldboats.com, but you'll not be able to get it. It's a subscription service that yacht
Gotcha.
brokers
Uh-huh.
and surveyors use, but
Well-
you can use my,
Yeah,
Subscription.
I'm sure we can
We
figure
can
it
So
out.
actually
you
do
can
that.
go on
I
there.
can go on there.
We can
and
email you, and, because you're not cruising for a little while yet, you're doing
No,
boat
and
shows
even
and
when
stuff.
we're offshore,
So you need a comparison,
We need some
we need the
comparisons.
comps
Yep.
right,
to know
they're
what
selling
they're
for.
average selling for.
Okay, so they buy a boat, you need to run the numbers and then see what they're
Yeah.
selling for.
Just say
And
the average-
say three.
Right, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a
choose
budget
two
of,
boats.
we're gonna call and estimate the cost of a new Yanmar or Volvo or something,
Yeah.
a diesel motor and.
Or better.
It is
a
good
little
ones,
bit.
yeah. So we're gonna get some rough numbers
Yeah.
so that we can say, we're gonna add, X amount to this project.
Yeah,
So you need to recruit them.
so you really need to buy low. You need
Yes,
to buy
Ideally.
below market
yeah.
value.
And most
Yes.
importantly is just, structural integrity.
Yeah.
Structural
You know,
integrity.
systems we've got covered, but
No,
structural
we're,
integrity and a name that
Yeah,
could
that's-
sell.
Yeah.
You know, we're a school, so we're not out here to make, you know,
Right.
wheelbarrows of money. We want our
Right.
students to learn and see this
Yeah.
thing come to be, and then hopefully to provide somebody with that dream of having a decent boat to go out and do one of these 6-7 year cruises,
Mhm.
you know?
And I'm thinking of your students, because there's going to be continued, if not increasing, jobs in refitting old boats, because nobody's buying new boats for long distance cruising, other than, you know.
I just went on a couple of new 45-foot boats. Apparently they're like $800,000 plus.
Yeah.
That's like the entry level.
Yeah, well, there was a really nice Sirius 40 deck saloon.
That's
like
the one
a
I
pilot.
went on.
$750,000
That's what
for
I'm
a
saying, for a
40-foot
40-foot
boat. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
And
I love the storage in it.
Yeah, and
But-
structurally, and the visibility, the
Yeah.
daylight, but that's out of,
Seems to be out of the
Yeah.
Budgets.
the
Yeah.
bu-
yeah, so what we're looking at is for
I
people,
think it's viable.
it's a demographic deal. There's a
Right.
lot of people that are our age that have worked really hard and saved really hard, and they don't have $700,000, but maybe they have $100,000 or $70,000, and they want to have an adventure. And they're not getting any younger, and so,
That's our target audience, right
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely.
Where
Well-
should they look for a boat? Do you have money to truck it from out of the area?
Well, included in that budget, yeah, we could, you know, I grew up in Michigan, and so I've always told somebody if I had an option between Michigan and Florida, I'd buy a Michigan boat in a second because of the fresh water.
it's just like San Diego versus Seattle.
Yeah.
The lower salt, the lower humidity. You know,
So-
the optimum is to buy a boat that's been inside all winter. So in Germany, in Holland, in Sweden, all of Scandinavia, the boats are usually only in the water for 4 months a year, and the rest of the time they're in a big shed, sometimes a heated shed. So when we were in
They're a lot
Sweden.
more money
Yeah.
Of course.
than what these
Yeah,
guys
they
are.
just,
But
You're
to
not
answer your
much.
That would be
question,
ideal.
I mean, can you
Yeah.
buy a boat in Oregon and
yeah,
truck
I
up
mean,
there?
absolutely.
Right.
If we found a boat for $30,000 that was in the Bay Area, you know, we could pay part of our budget to have it trucked up here.
yeah, good.
The
Well, that-
logistics of going down and looking at it are a little harder, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
but this is a monumentous project, right? This is our
It's
first
the
time
first
out the
ever.
gate, so
Yeah.
we want to be careful. But yeah, I think when you get into the world of boats, moving them around anymore is not as
Yeah.
big of a deal.
So $2,000, I just talked with Ryan Helling from Swiftsure. He just bought a FAR 44 in the Bay Area, and he said all up, if he didn't, he went down and unrigged it
Right.
and got it ready, but he said all up, if you didn't do anything for a 44-foot boat, $7,000. So you're talking
Not
about
bad.
38-foot boats.
38-foot boat, we're talking $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
If we couldn't do the work and it would show up here.
Right, and then
Yeah.
once it shows up, you can put it all back together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna take it apart anyway. so.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if the mast is on the
Yeah,
dolly.
yeah, the
Ideally-
mast has to come off to get it into the building, so.
Right. So it's gonna go inside,
Inside the project area.
not outside?
Yeah.
Wow, and so, do you have any physical limitations of the longest or the tallest?
The sea lift, the drive around
Right.
one, we've had boats in the back before, it does fit through our door, you know, through that big overhead door. And so,
Fantastic.
and that's the smaller of the sea lifts, but it'll haul boats up to 40 foot easy enough, so I don't think we can get much beyond, you know, a 45 or 50 would be a little too big
Yeah.
for our space,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
We're looking at that, 35 to 40, you know.
Great.
So, which is what we're chatting about, I think it's attainable, that's what we're
Yeah.
after, is
Yeah.
just this experience for students that we're excited about.
Mhm.
So our target is to have this started in the fall of 2021, of this year.
2020. yeah.
2020, okay,
2020.
so
Yep. Six months from now. So we got lead time to kick boat stands, we can do our research, and then when students start in the fall, that's when the electrical class is, we'll start with the
Great.
demolition and electrics, and then Matt's gonna kick in and.
Yep. Winter we do our engines
Winter.
class and
Great,
drive
yeah,
trains.
that's great.
Rigging in spring. So
Yeah, and then
should all
there's-
kind of fall
It
together.
should fall in, and then spring we'll roll it out and put the stick back on,
Yeah,
Right.
so, with some new rigging, standing rigging.
I wonder if there's any possibility of donations, if you can
I think so, John, that's a great point.
approach somebody and say tax benefit if you donate.
We
to them.
have tax benefit if they donate the boat.
Right.
We also have a lot of industry connections that really wanna get young people into our industry.
Yeah.
And so part of the project is support. And Anacortes, as you know, we are a maritime town.
Yeah,
All the boat yards and marinas and stuff. And so we can get transport from the water to the building donated and stuff.
Yeah.
So we have some serious advantages and you know,
Mhm.
and we really thank the town of Anacortes for being
yeah.
here. So, but yeah, we're starting to work out all the logistics now, so.
That's exciting.
This is awesome. I didn't realize that we could get to your site and look for boats and your
Yeah.
offer of, we'll
Yeah.
send you some notes for some comparables and make sure we don't make
Yeah,
any
we
grave
can do-
mistakes, so.
Yeah, do comps in a heartbeat. And you know, the other thing is to work with the yacht brokers in the area.
Yeah.
Put the word out, because sometimes people need a tax break more than they need
To sell a boat for
to sell the
something.
boat.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so
Yeah, we're gonna definitely,
start,
And in some of the brokers, it's not worth for them to advertise the boat because it costs them money to put it in the magazine.
Sure.
So they also have some hidden somewhere, maybe.
they might have, yeah, so I definitely think that's, this all just came to be right before the, you know, a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, and so
That's exciting.
you were coming through, I wanted to touch base with you guys, and then we're gonna put it out to all the brokers in the area, we're gonna put it out to the Northwest Marine Trades organizations.
that's great.
And, just spread the word that we need a boat,
Good,
so,
that's very exciting.
excellent. Well, thank you guys. This
Yeah,
has been
absolutely.
awesome.
Super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will keep in touch.
Good.
And, we sure appreciate all you're gonna do to help out the Marine Tech program here, and hopefully we can inspire some young people, that's what we like to do.
Well, and if they want jobs in the marine industry, refitting boats that, just like what you're going to be doing here in the school is gonna be that's never gonna end.
Right.